Hey, Tony Gaskins here. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm coming back from my mother-in-law house because she had picked up grocery. Some eggnog and some milk for my wife. And my wife, she up, wrapping gifts, and she craving some eggnog. So I had to come leave the house and come and get this here. And I was thinking when I was coming back, and I'm going to say this, and I'm saying this out of love. I'm saying this out of love, and I don't want you to, take offense to this. That's why I'm talking to you directly and not at a live seminar when you're in front of people. It's just between me, you, and God. Get that weight off of you. Get that weight off of you. That's the one way that they killing us, is with that weight. And I say this because all of my family die from diabetes. And this is what you got to think. This is what you have to realize. When you have pain, when you have trauma, when you've been hurt, that food become a drug. The food become a drug because when you eat food, you get that chemical release from your brain. And so that chemical release, it kind of numb your pain. You forget about your failure. You forget about your trauma. And so when you think about it, a lot of times overeating is connected with pain or poverty. And when you go into, for example, if you rarely, and I noticed this, I rarely see white moms who are middle class or upper middle class overweight. Rarely. And the reason why is because they don't have pain and they don't have poverty. And so the thing with so many minorities, a lot of times you coming from savagery, and you coming from this pain, and you coming from this poverty. And so it's so many of us that have been taken advantage of as children, as teenagers, as young adults, as adults, because of the savage mentality that comes from trauma and pain. And so one of the drugs for that is food. And anxiety and pain and trauma, the chemicals it releases from the brain, it start to eat away at your stomach lining. It give you stomach aches. It make you uneasy. And so one thing that we utilize for that acid in our stomach, for them chemicals, them toxic chemicals being released into our bloodstream to eat on, is food. So we want to put rice in there, a bunch of rice, bunch of bread, bunch of carbs, and that turn into sugar in the body. Or we salt, grease, sugary drinks, a lot of juice, sodas. And it's a high, it's a drug, it's comforting. And it make us forget about, for a moment, it make us forget about our failures. It make us forget about our shortcomings. It make us forget about the pain of the past, the trauma from the past, the things we've experienced, the things we've suffered. It make us forget about it. And we're just eating. You're eating through that because of that divorce. You're eating because of the abuse, sexual, physical, mental, emotional, verbal. You're eating through it, and that food is comforting. But yet, it's destroying you at the same time, because it's unhealthy, and it's putting on weight, it's clogging your arteries, cholesterol high, blood sugar high, blood pressure high, hypertension, all this stuff, diabetes, all this stuff. And it's because we made food a drug. And so in essence, it becomes our crack cocaine. It becomes our marijuana. It becomes our ecstasy pill, that food, them Oreos, the red velvet cake, the rice and gravy, fried chicken, fried pork chops, fast food, burgers, fries, all the ice cream, the Coca-Cola, the Mountain Dew, the Dr. Pepper, the lemonade, the sweet tea, all this stuff. We start to utilize this stuff to just give us that fix. Give us that fix to just make us feel good. That's why they call it comfort food. They don't call kale, spinach comfort food. They call the heavy fattening food comfort food. And it's saying, let this food comfort you in your pain, in your trauma. And that's why it's Southern cooking and not Northern cooking. Because in the North, there was no slavery. But in the South, there was slavery. And so the Southern cooking come from the slaves cooking with the slops and the leftovers. Fried chicken, chitlins, which is pig intestines for those of y'all who don't know. Chitlins, pig feet, hog maws, gizzards, liver, all of the throwout, all of the possum, raccoon, Southern cooking, all of the throwout food. And when you look at Southern cooking, it ain't salad with grilled chicken. Southern cooking is a bunch of salt, a bunch of grease, and it's killing us. It's killing us. So what it is saying, like, listen, we ain't got to incarcerate you. We ain't got to whip you. We ain't got to make you no slave. We're gonna put this food on you. We're gonna put this food on you. And when I think about this thing and I look around, and I see how many people of color and minorities is obese. I'm obese. They did a body mass index. I was in Jamaica with my partner, with my white friend, and they had this little calculator, and you put your height and you put your weight, and it tell you what you is. My height and weight, that thing said obese. I say, what? I say, man, I'm muscular. What in the world? So listen to me. This just from brother to brother, brother to sister. We got to conquer this. We got to conquer this. We got to be. Now, I seen a video. That thing motivated me. He gave himself 1 year to change his life. And I think he went from 350 or something like that, or 3 something to down to 2 something. He went from, a stomach on him and no definition, no tone, to a 6-pack of abs with definition in his, chest and arms and all of that. I say, man, that man did this thing. So I'm talking to you, and the reason why I'm talking to you is just because I'm living this, because my daddy got diabetes, got to take a whole bunch of medicine. My mama got a different stage of diabetes. It's not that bad, but they just put her on medication. My daddy brother died from diabetes, to my knowledge. My Uncle Cleve, my Uncle GL, my Auntie Osi, my Auntie Sarah. I just named off four of my daddy's siblings. I think all died from diabetes. My grandma, she died at 82. Her complications come from smoking since she was 19. My daddy died from emphysema, smoking. So that's a little side thing right there. That if that's your issue, then you got to conquer that too. But see, we got to look at this thing. We got to realize it's like, now it ain't. Now, yeah, we still dying by police brutality and stuff like that, but not mass, not the masses. Masses dying from heart disease. things like that right there. Heart disease, diabetes. And so this just on my heart. It's just from me to you. And I really want you to make this change. I want you to make a decision. And I want you to love yourself on a different level now. And let me know. Let me know. And shout out to Harut, who won the treadmill. And I'm going to get that to you, Harut. Got to order that and get that shipped out to you. And get your address. But I would love to gift the treadmill every year. Lord willing, Lord bless me enough to be able to in a position to do it. I want to do that every year, because if I had the time, I'd start me a foundation that just raise money to gift treadmills, to put a treadmill in everybody's living room or bedroom to where you ain't got no excuse not to work out. But now 90% of people turn that treadmill into a clothes hanger. Because I done had 2 treadmills in my house. For 6 years, I done lived with a treadmill. And I ain't used the thing 100 times yet. Out of 6 years. It's 365 days in a year. I just been using it consecutively now for the last 2 weeks. Before this, I probably used it consecutively 1 week before this. But I don't use it that much. And so when I'm sharing this with you, I'm not picking on you. I ain't talking down to you. I ain't body shaming you. People talk about body shaming and all that, but that's a defense mechanism. Ain't nobody body shaming you. We health encouraging you. Ain't nobody body shaming you. We health encouraging. We encouraging health. That's what we doing. We ain't body shaming, but see, that's what the world is so sensitive. The world, we live in cancel culture. You say anything, oh, you body shaming. It's like, listen, it's different if you got a health, if a person has a health issue to where they drinking all water and they eating salad and yet they gaining weight. That's a health issue, meaning they eating a normal portion of salad. They eating lean meats, vegetables, and drinking water, and they gaining weight. That's a health issue. But I heard Zig Ziglar say, y'all gonna hear me quote him a lot, because I used to listen to Zig 10 hours a day when I was changing my life. Zig say, I've never eaten nothing by accident. Zig say he was 230 or 260 pounds. And he did the math, and he just say, okay, if I lose 0.034 of a pound or 0.3 of a pound a day, I lose X amount of pounds in X amount of time. And he say he started running. He started with just running a little bit. Come on now, it's possums in the neighborhood. Say he started just running a little bit. I'm riding around in circles in my neighborhood just because I'm doing this video. And I know my wife, she wrapping my gifts right now, so I'm trying to give her a little more time. But hey, this light, this 1:41 a.m. This light, sometimes people want to know how to make a marriage work. Going to pick up your wife eggnog at 1:30 a.m. from her mama house. That's how you make it work right there. That's love right there. Her wrapping my gifts while I'm gone. That's love right there. So now listen to me. Zig say he started just a little bit a day. Just a little bit a day. Say the next thing you know, before you know it, he say he was outrunning teenagers. Outrunning people in their 20s. Running longer than they was. Just tackling it one day at a time. I think he said he went from 230 to 160. Because he said he wrote in his book he was 160 pounds. But he said when he was writing the book, he was 230 pounds. He said, I got to get this 70 pounds off of me. I could have the numbers a little off. He said, I got to get this 70 pounds off of me before this book published. Listen, it's mind over matter. It's mind over matter. I live in a obese family in the clinical sense. I'm not talking, shaming terms. I'm in the clinical sense of obesity. I live in an obese family. I grew up around that. Everybody mama's overweight. And you know who was not overweight? The white moms. And I used to always wonder that. Like, why we naturally more athletically built as Africans. People, more athletically built. And when I would look back at all of the black women, when you look back at the black women pictures from high school, my mama was 105 pounds as a grown woman. 105 pounds as a grown woman. When she got married, and I think when she got pregnant with me, she was 115 pounds. My daddy said she had a body on her. That's what he told me. That ain't the case no more. She had one child, and she had my sister 2 years later. And she said she just kept putting on weight, kept putting on weight, kept putting on weight. And honestly, when I look at it as comfort food. I look at it as we eating just out of misery. You know, we eating out of failure. We eating out of, because I notice when you start making the money you want to make, you get motivated. You get motivated, and that's why you don't see a lot of rich people that's overweight, because you get motivated. And then also, a lot of times, that discipline to lose the weight, it helps us earn more money. Because if you could be disciplined in your body, you're going to be disciplined. You could be disciplined in your business. Now, some people could be disciplined in their business, but not disciplined in their body. And then some people, you know, I talk to some women who, they say, hey, I'm not happy with my body. I'm not happy with my weight. I'm trying to lose weight. And then when we get to this story, they dealt with the R word. The R word, you know, if you know what I'm talking about, when they were younger, a man, you know, did that to them, and it stole their identity. It stole their innocence. And it sent them on this, you know, they started spiraling out of control and overeating as a form of comfort after being violated. And so when you look at that, when you look into the stories, a lot of times it's disappointment from not reaching your goals, from failure, or it's a response to pain or trauma. And so that's why therapy is necessary, or coaching, so that you can identify this and you can recognize it. And then this is the thing, well, the mistake that we make is we try to do everything at once. We want to do the keto diet. We want to fast for a whole week. We want to do juicing. We want to do all this very drastic stuff. When what you should do is just find 30 minutes a day to go walking. Just start with walking 30 minutes a day. Start with walking 30 minutes a day, and only drinking water when you have a liquid. Like, you could still eat regular in the beginning. You're gonna start to change your eating. You're gonna change your eating. And when I say eat regular, I mean if salad kind of make you cringe or make you want to throw up, and you want to have some, you know, rice with grilled chicken or broccoli, you know, you still could do that. I know people got all their health tips and all that, but we're not trying to change the world overnight, and we ain't trying to go from A to Z overnight. And you can't go from eating fried chicken and red velvet cake and Oreos to just eating salad. It's too drastic, and that's what happened. We try to be so drastic. We try to do so much to where we get tired of it after a week or two, and then now we go and overeat, and the 10 pounds we lose, we put back on 20, because what we did was so drastic that it wasn't sustainable. And I seen that happen with one of my friends. Lost like 40 pounds, and then, but what he was doing was so, it wasn't sustainable, so went from losing 40 pounds to gaining 80, and then becoming, you know, bigger than he had ever been in his life, because what he was doing was so drastic. Because what he was doing was, he was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and going to work out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then doing keto So just eating grilled chicken and broccoli. But you coming from fried chicken, rice, mac and cheese, all kind of beans, and to go from that. And then when you're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, one of the biggest things that you gotta have when you losing weight is sleep. So you waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but you went to bed at midnight. Now you done slept 4 hours. This is a Band-Aid. I cut my finger tonight while I was cutting open boxes for my wife, cutting open packages that had presents in it. I just slipped and cut my finger in there. That's more love. And so think about that. So he did this for so long, going off 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, and then going and working out extremely hard with a bodybuilder, and then going and not eating carbs. And so, yeah, it burnt a lot of weight, but it's not sustainable. So when his schedule changed and he changed living locations and couldn't get to the gym, now the body, from being broken down so much, from being so tired, from being so overworked, from being so starvation mode, then when you start to eat rice again, that body say, we finna hold this, we finna hold this, we finna hold this, because he gonna starve us, we finna hold this. And so now, lose 40, put back on 80. And so I share that to say, you gotta take small steps. Take small steps. And just one step at a time. And then you're gonna start to create some new habits. And this is what I'm doing. And see, the way I am, because I'm a teacher by nature, by heart. So what I do is, every step I take, when I take a step, I tell the person who coming right behind me, hey, watch out for this hole. Hey, watch out for this hump. Hey, watch out for this roadblock. Hey, watch out for this nail. So me, I'm not an expert on this. I ain't no expert on this. But the little bit I learn, the little bit I do, the little bit I experience, I teach somebody else. And that's what we should do. As you learn, you should teach. As you learn, you should teach. So I'm just strictly motivation. Ain't body shaming nobody or nothing like that. I'm saying this out of love. Get that weight off of you. Get that weight off of you. And I'm going to be honest with you too. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of times when, as a life coach, when I talk to people, the only thing standing between them and their goal is that weight. Them and their husband, them and their wife, them and their clients, their addition of clients, them and their larger following, them and their brand, them and their promotion, it's their weight. And I'll be honest with you as a brother, and I'm gonna talk to you now about this. Is what happens is, when we have that weight on us, people judge us. So if somebody look at you and they say, hey, your body is the first representation of how you love yourself. So if somebody deems you overweight, they'll say, I don't want to hire this person because I can't trust this person, because they can't trust themselves, because they can't take care of themselves. How can I trust this person with my business, with my money, with my whatever, if they can't take care of themselves? So look, you will see people who are overweight become successful. But think about the people who don't have their talent, who are more successful just because of their body, just because of their health, just because of their look. Think about how many people you have seen become famous and become successful just because of how they take care of their body. Think about all the deals that a Jennifer Lopez gets in her 50s, when she's supposed to be over the hump, She supposed to be done for. And cause she not that good of a singer. And God bless her soul. Now I ain't talking bad about her, but she not no Whitney Houston. She not no Beyonce. But because of how she take care of her body, brands want her in commercials. Directors want her in movies. They want her in their clothes. They want her on the red carpet. They want her there. You see what I'm saying? And so I want you to understand is that a lot of times when you look around through corporate, you're going to see exceptions to the rule, but a lot of times the CEO is going to be fit. That gets hired, not the founder, not CEO founder, but the CEO that gets elected, that gets hired, is going to be fit. A lot of times now, President number 45, he had a little meat on his bones, but he was elected for other reasons. But other than that, look at the shape Barack and Michelle had to be in to be elected. Look at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You see what I mean? When you look around, when you think about your supervisors over the years, your managers over the years, you're going to see some that they had meat on their bones. But when you look at who getting elected, who get to do the announcements, who get to give the speeches, who get to be on the company commercial, who get put on the billboard, they're not putting us who have some extra meat on our bones. They putting those who have buffeted their body and who have gotten that weight off of them. That's what they're doing. And so I'm saying it's out of love now. And it's hard to say, but I say, you know what? I did a message earlier today, talking about how we raise our kids and stuff, and how a lot of time we raising our kids. Y'all got to forgive me with do-rag on now. And how we raising our kids the wrong way. And a lot of times parenting is creating identity crisis that these kids having. But that was too real, so I couldn't post it. I told my wife, I said, man, I can't get canceled before I done got started. And the Lord got a lot more work to do for me. But please believe, when the Lord elevate me and he put me on that big stage, I'm telling all the truth. Especially if the Lord let me live to be in my 80s. When I get in my 80s, maybe even my 70s, I'm finna be telling so much truth. Y'all finna be like, Tony, why you telling all this truth? Hey, God bless you. Let me get off the phone before I go in the house. God bless you.